Hello YouTube, this is a Satsu 5. Thought I'd do an EDC update. Some things have changed, finally, and I want to do a kind of a layout like this. I want to go through my work EDC, remove the things that I don't take with me when I'm out on play or just running around town, and then I'll do my, I guess you could say, out on the town at play, you know, running errands type of EDC. So let's get started. Some things have changed, but to get the boring stuff out of the way, I have my iPhone, which is currently naked, has no case on it, just a screen protector. And that's a hint to what has changed. But yeah, this is my iPhone. I love iPhone, and so this is what I carry. I think it's a 7 hitch and timber, or timber and hitch. Can't remember which one is hitch and timber. And I have a Victorinox Cadet blue A-locks and a Fisher Space Pen. When I'm at work, I need hearing protection, and instead of using the hearing protection that they provide, I got me some Sony noise cancellating earphones. After October, I will be reviewing these. And then, go figure, my most expensive watch is my Beetle watch. This is the iPhone Series 1 Apple Watch, and I love it because if I'm on the weed eater and I get a text message, I can see if it's from my boss or family or whatever, and I don't have to dig my phone out of my pocket. It's like I get a text message, boom, it's there. I can decide if it's an important text message where I need to stop weed eating or mowing to address it, or I can ignore it and continue doing my job. So this is a cool kind of Beetle watch for me. It's the most expensive watch I own, but it's also the most practical for my job that I do. The book is not part of my EDC, that's just there for visual interest. And now the knives and the keys. Let's start off with the keys. I decided to not get rid of, but to stop using my key bar. And just a quick review, I love the key bar, and to me, key bar versus the other options, I have one of the other options right here. I think the key bar looks the most rugged and tactical and masculine, but that's not necessarily the look I'm going for. And when I originally bought this one's titanium, it was flame anodized, and it had a very weak flame anodization on it, and it rubbed off. So I now got the Key Smart Pro. This has a tile in it, so if I lose my keys, and I'll have a quick story time in this video, I can hopefully find my keys. And this is going to be what I'm using from now on. And this, I'm either going to trick this out with a lot of inserts, maybe turn it into a karambit, brass knuckles, a Swiss Army knife from hell maybe, or I'm going to use it to keep my spare keys that I may need. I haven't decided which yet, because really the only spare key I really need is the house key. I mean, I need other spare keys, but not house key, but Jeep key. But the Jeep key, there's no spare key for the Jeep key. I can't call family and say, hey, you know, run to the house to get my Jeep key. So if I lose this key, I am screwed. That's why I got the tile. It was a kind of a quick band-aid option to go by to keep me from losing these keys, and I could eventually get a replacement spare key for my vehicle, but I don't have one. So what happened was I had the key bar and it fell off of me while I was at the beach, and I'm far from home, no spare key at home, and you know, so not only will I have to call a locksmith to break into the Jeep, but I'd have to wait X amount of time to get a replacement key. And luckily we found them on the beach. We found this on the beach. And more specifically, my uncle found them on the beach. He has a rich history of finding small objects on the beach that are very important. And he found this with the keys attached. So I was able to drive home in my own vehicle without, yeah, I had the ability to drive home in my own vehicle and not go home with my dad's vehicle and leave my Jeep at the beach. So that's why I got the tile, because I can hopefully locate my keys, and eventually I'll get a replacement Jeep key. But I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. I definitely want to try reheat anodization myself, but I'm either going to trick it out to be like a Swiss Army knife from hell, or I'm going to use it for spare keys and such. Knives. The knife that is not new, but is now in rotation, is the Cold Steel XL Recon 1, which is a beast of a blade, 5.5 inches, has a good bit of heft to it, has a decent amount of chopping power for a folding knife. It's not a chopper, but it can do some chopping. And I chopped down some trees about that big from that big with this relatively easily. There's a certain technique that I use for cutting down saplings and small trees, and I'm going to have to make a video on that. But this took care of it. You just pop, snap them open, or cut them into a felled tree. But this is my tactical knife for when I'm at work, and it's also my light machete when I'm at work. But a knife that I am very interested in is this. This is a MAM, Portugal since 1870. And you can definitely see some influence. These are called peasant knives or penny knives, depending on who you are. But these are peasant type knives, very cheap, they're very easy to make, relatively speaking. I'm not a blit cutler, but there's a video on how to make this type of knife on YouTube, and if you have some tools like a lathe and stuff, you can make these knives. But this is an open nail, this is a MAM, and this is the big difference between the two. The open nail has a collar lock that allows you to lock the blade, and so it's locked. And open nails have been pretty popular. This one, the retention is off, so I have to lock it closed so it won't open in my pocket. But I love open nail for what they are. And this is a very similar knife. It's stainless steel, and it has a liner lock. I'm going to call this a nested reverse liner lock, because it's very similar to the Victorinox soldier's knife, at least the new soldier's knife, that you have to press the lock to the right in order to release the lock instead of pressing it to the left. So what I usually do is I use my pointer finger to push it, I break the lock, then I close it. I can close it one-handed. But it's the same thing as the open nail, except instead of a collar lock, it has a nested reverse liner lock. And I've been very pleased with this so far. Time will tell how well it'll hold up. But I got me a rather big one because I'm in Texas and I can legally carry a sword if I want. So I like big knives. And little knives have their purpose. I mean, obviously I carry the sack and this. I don't carry this too often, but I do use this at home a good bit. But I do carry the Swiss Army knife. I am carrying this. Small knives have their place, but I really like the capability of a big knife. So that's my at-work EDC. Now, what has changed? What are we not carrying? Well, this stays, this goes, this. Sometimes I wear this in town, depending on the day, but for the sake of the video, this goes. And no longer using this. What do I add in for my at-play EDC? Well, first off, the self-defense knife changes. XL Espada. Especially if I'm going to be out at night, like at a bar or something, where I can't carry fun things. I have a Olight M2R Warrior, which I really love. This is a very cool flashlight. I love it, and I wish I would have got the copper one while it was still in. Well, I think it might still be in stock, but I'm broke. But I would very much like to get the copper series of Olight, not the titanium anodized copper ones, but the solid copper ones. I'd love to have that. So, flashlight, the EDC knife that's in rotation, it stays the same. The self-defense knife changes. What else? Well, we have the watch. And like I said, occasionally I wear this in town, especially if I'm just running some quick errands and I don't want to change or wind up the watch. I have to wind this watch up. But if I'm going to be off, like on the weekends, this is the watch that I carry. This is a Seiko XKX007 with the Bond NATO. And this is a automatic movement. And as you can see, probably, I have the date on Spanish because I'm teaching myself Spanish. And then, so there's the watch. Is there anything else that changes? Oh, I know what I forgot. The Beretta. This is the Beretta 85 BB, I think. And it's a compact 380, compact 380. So it's a rather large 380. And a lot of people say that 380 is trash and they wouldn't carry it, although those people who carry pocket pistol versions of it. And to tell you the truth, I've seen ballistic testing on the pocket 380s, but I've never seen a ballistics test on a barrel that is of this size. And I'd like to see some ballistic testing with like a full-size 380. This is a compact, not necessarily full size. But I believe that this is completely sufficient to do what I need it to do. Would I like a 9mm parabellum? Yes, and it's on my list of things to get. But this is what I have right now. I think it's sufficient. And yeah, and I really like the gun. I genuinely enjoy shooting this gun and looking at it and fondling it. And I have the Lehigh Extreme Defender bullets in there, so mushrooming or failing to mushroom is not an issue, and it's going to have sufficient penetration. But I miss my 357, but it wasn't the most practical thing to carry. This is very easy to carry in rather fitted clothing, so I really like this Beretta. And that is basically the big difference between my work EDC and my at play EDC, or my out on the town EDC, vacation EDC. You know, this is what I carry when I'm not at work. And that's it. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.